Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Yes, my mothers of the human race, my mothers, my most beloved mothers, grandmas, and every one of my members, my mothers especially. This message, this interpretation of the ayahs of the Holy Quran is directed to mothers as a part of the interpretations of their celestial obligation, honor and task, and the honor in which or to which they were honored and tasked as interpretations, proof and evidence, interpretations of what life is to you, the mothers, and to your children. When we look back at the 11th centuries, because we have to look at the 11th centuries, in those 11 centuries, there are gross dents of what we call a colossal hazardous liabilities, of which whenever a century came and went by, people said, oh, that year is gone, and that whatever, let's move on with whatever that is on the table. And I said, no, mothers, I said no more neglection of your celestial obligation if you want life to continue on this planet. Because when I take you back to each and every one of you, because now today we are here in the Americas, we are in Australia, we are in America as well as in Australia, and the entire globe. We are in America amending the Virginia law. In that Virginia law, I put straight on the Zoom screen what we call the Magna Carta, life, Islam. Magna Carta, life, Islam. And what does life mean to you as a mother? That's why I said the judges of the most competent judges on the Council of Judges in the American Assembly, or an American Assembly of Constitution of Laws, should be women to interpret this Virginia law. They have the capacity. They have the capacity to interpret and look at every intricate merit of what life means, either through the Magna Carta, through the World Health Organization and institutions like what you may in modern times call hospitals and clinics and so on and so on and so on. With it, I'm going to go back and sit my mothers in the American Senate and the Council of Assembly of Judges, as well as in the Australian, because we are here in America as well as in Australia, discussing very, very serious matters for future generations. That is, if any one of you around the world today are still interested for what you call life to go on. If you're not interested, we are more much obliged, me as Mother Planet Earth, I'm much more obliged to take those who say we're foolish, to take you to the abyss of extinction, because it's me who produce the food you eat. I have a stake in whatever that goes on Mother Planet Earth. I do. Me as Mother Planet Earth, I have a very, very high stake in what goes on your activities on this planet as men and women, girls and boys, living on Mother Planet Earth. With that, I'm trying to interpret and give a whole divine guidance to interpretation, or mainly to the girl child, because if women were given a honor and they were honored by Allah with a holy divine honor and holy divine task, they are entitled to know what is life, what their bodies means, and what every complement of either from Mother Nature or from their members of your societies. And I remember I said at one time that we have to look at the word societies, because in these so-called societies, the things that men used as those men who misled who conjectured words, there are things they used that contributed a lot of going astray, which is not necessary. The going astray for deviation of human beings from the true religion of their bodies, as well as how men and women are created. The deviation that took place occurred through this some of these things were accumulated through what you call traditions and culture and societies. Because the people of let's say the people of Michigan in those old days would say, no, we are people of Michigan, we don't know about the people of Ontario. Whereas you are all under on one planet. On that planet, as I said today, we are in America, an assembly introducing a Virginia law, as well as in Australia, looking at how do we, as mothers, work as a united, one hand, one nation of human beings, to allocate resources of beauty to the interpretation of life, dignities, and your dignities, your integrities, in one very single language. That is Islam. Because that's the only authentic interpretation, or whole divine authentic interpretation, in which a mother conceives and carries a womb for 9 months while she's pregnant. The creation in her womb is also under a celestial obligation to prostrate before he created her mother, in whom the creation, the womb, whatever is. In that, I said to mothers again, it is very, very, very important for every one of you to look at the tears of these children that you've carried for years, for 9 months. Do you still want these tears to appear on the cheeks of your children? If the answer is no, then amend and introduce a laws that protects every dignity and every integrity and the beauty of life, either to Mother Nature, the environment, which I said, Mother Nature or planet Earth has a stake in every article of beauty to you living human beings. With that, we will go again, and with that I would like to ask the Council of Judges who are sitting on this interpretation in the Assembly of America, in the American Assembly, Council of Judges, and they should be women, as well as in the Australian, where we are looking at how do we get along and move, make the first step, protect and the life and the integrity of every human being on this planet without infringing or introducing what we call, if we are to go back in the 11th centuries, they are what we call draconian laws. And those draconian laws, if you are to look at them with a competent interpreter, they will point at in one direction, misguiding or stripping the beauty of life or Islam from every face and every mother that has ever held a child in her womb. So with that, I do beg the American Senate, please, my mothers, many of you, I should also put this point on the table. In the 80s, there was one of the world's deadliest famine, which took place in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country mentioned in the Holy Quran as Abyssinia or something like of that kind. Ethiopia is mentioned in the Holy Quran. However, in 1980 something, very deadly famine occurred in that country. And children under the age of either from 8 or 9 downwards were shown on live motion pictures trying to eat something, but they are chewing their tongue. They are chewing their tongue. Those are the consequences. If you may neglect or disrespect the holy divine laws of Allah, where Allah says, I did create every human being with one most holy, beautiful religion, Islam. In modern times, in 2026, men, when they talk of the biblical thing, my people, any conversation reflecting or whatever of the, looking at your liabilities, if you want to see how deadly a liability is, you can look at look at the biographies which we are compiled up and made what you call the biblical thing. Gangsters after gangster. With that, whatever in every liability that took, whatever in that kind of time. So with that, my mothers of Australia, my mothers of the America and Europe and the entire continent, it's your responsibility to understand that these children, I would like to say to you that in a few, when I started this thing, I did say to my Arab children, my children in the Middle East, that stop this kafara practice. Because they had a law whereby someone gives you a ticket and you go to Saudi Arabia or Jordan or whatever, and you work there. And sometimes they can give you food, or they don't give. What they could do was that because they bought an air ticket for you, that's all. That is your life boat. In some parts of the world, it is even worse. There's some parts of Africa where children are sold, where children are sold and they are castrated. If they are boys, they are castrated when they are young. These boys, they came to say, Yalla. They came to say, Yalla. We were castrated and meant to become concubines to the Marabos, the Congo farmers. So I looked at these boys and said, my children, who did this to you? That's when I said, my mother. Every mother on this planet, take the child that you carried for 9 months, his life to be very precious. Because I can't imagine a child, the day she's born or he's born, is sold off. And when they're sold off, they are castrated. When they're castrated, they are used as women. Sometimes they give you food, sometimes they don't give you. That's what the kafara terminology means. So my mother, I beg you all over this planet, take life to be very beautiful and make laws that will protect your children. If you don't, me, I'm the deadliest thing you can think of. Me, many of you don't know me, but I'm the deadliest thing that you can think of because I'm every red and white blood cell that constructs every muscle tissue or either in your faces or your internal organs. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.